grim and a dark place, and I think we have a great danger of going into a doom and gloom scenario. For me, there are three main divides in our society. Yeah, I will come back to that later. Three great divides in our society. We've been talking about the ecological divide. 1.5 Earths we are using, all the ecological disasters we have with that, climate change, and our disconnect we have with nature. I think humans are ecology as well. Second divide, social divide between each other. 2.5 billion people on the moment are living in poverty. And I think you South Africans really know about that as well. And the other divide is there, that we are disconnected with each other. And the last, for me, I think the most scary divide we don't talk about is our spiritual divide. It's who are we? 3.5 people are so desperate that they take away their own life than are getting killed in homicide or warfare. 3.5 times more people. I think that's scary living in a society like that. I'm getting depressed of saying this. From the talks before, I'm not feeling much more happy. I feel despondent. You hear my voice, I'm totally getting nervous. And I feel helpless. And the question is there still hope for us? For my generation, for our future generation? What are we going to do? Is there hope? And I have to say happily, I think, yes, there is. There is hope for us. Yes, those divides are really there and makes us scared. But I really believe with you together, we are capable to create a better place. And we have the option to make that change. Everybody, one of us. We are able to create an environment where, first of all, we can open our minds in new ways of engaging with our Mother Earth. The second thing, important as well, we can open our heart to each other and have compassion and empathy for each other. And then the third one, can we start not only reducing our ecological footprint, but can we start increasing our handprint to make this place a better world? And I think we can do that. And I will take you on a journey. First, I think it's easy to say and believe and talk about that we can all do that. But I will try to take you on a journey, my journey with my friends in the Baviaanskloof, to give you some hope. And it was a journey I did with some friends in an organization called Living Lands. And it's mainly going to talk about social change for adaptation and mitigation of climate change in rural areas, but mainly about the social change. My journey started 4 years ago. I was a young, enthusiastic, and naive boy. I wanted to save the world, and I thought I had all the answers and all the solutions. And we focused mainly on the Baviaanskloof. For people who don't know, Port Elizabeth is here, Jeffreys Bay for the surfers, and then for the hikers, the Baviaanskloof. And then we mainly focused in the in-holding there. But we faced with a challenge. How do we start? How do we engage? How do we go to that area and start making a difference? So what did we do? And definitely I was a trained scientist. We don't get taught at school how to make the world a better place. A lot of information, but so we started and we set up a learning network with different organizations. It stands for Participatory Restoration of Ecosystem Services and Natural Capital in the Eastern Cape. And we wanted to be present in the area as well. So we started with a workshop and we started a participatory process and engaged scientists. How can we now engage? How are we going to start this from as a scientist point of view? Make this amazing framework where you start with area identification, you start to understand what are the goods and services nature is providing to you and what are the values. Then you can do your opportunities and constraints. You develop a strategy, and now we're going to save the world. Sounds easy. So we went into the area with the determination to solve this problem. not Photoshop, this is reality. Too many goats, no goats. Which one do you want? And all the disasters we have with it. So the idea was mainly, can we plant spekboom, an indigenous tree that sequestrates a lot of carbon, then sell that carbon money to guilty Europeans who fly to South Africa, earn some money, and pay the farmers? Whoa, what a solution, I think. So, but we really had a challenge. Well, we thought we had the solution for the communities, the farmers, and the people around. They were not engaging with us. They were not listening to us. And this came evident. I will never forget the image. There were our first students working in the area, presenting the results to farmers. And we thought, here it's coming. Farmers stand up and say, guys, I think you should leave the area. I hate scientists, I hate conservationists, and I even hate more government. After 6 months in the area, that was not a good start. So, why were they not engaging with us? We have the solution. I don't understand that. So, I went back with some of my friends and were talking to each other and said, what are we doing wrong? I think what we're doing wrong, we're not really listening to them. We're engaging with them and we see them as the opportunity for our project. We see them as the problem. And as scientists, what we do, we engage with them, not really engaging. We just have our questionnaire, answer some questions, leave them, and do our scientific publication. And when you look at ancient cultures, it's been proven now by science, how you engage with society, society will engage with you. So when I engage with a farmer and see him as a problem, how does he engage with me? He sees me as a problem as well. So how did we have to change? So we really needed to change. And we needed to start engaging with them and listening with them, to them with empathy. And I really can assure you that was a great challenge for us. Because you talk with landowners and farmers, and they're telling you, I hate leopards. When I see one, I shoot them. And I love leopards. So how do I keep that voice of judgment away? How do I keep that voice of cynicism? Because when I start judging him, he will keep judging me. So what we really tried to create was an environment where we treat him with respect, he will treat us with respect, and he will treat his neighbors with respect. Because I really believe when we want to create change in our society, compassion and empathy is the start where we need to start, where we need to go to. Is try to understand each other. Not agree, understand each other. Why are we doing certain stuff without any judgment? And while we now were engaging with those landowners, we start seeing the real problem. They were not concerned about carbon for Europeans, who cares about that? No, they were concerned about their livelihoods, the loss of agricultural potential, the loss of jobs that they couldn't give anymore to their people. And then when we start realizing that, we changed our approach, start talking in their language, and start connecting with them. So what we did, first of all, we as well changed our approach. So we were not only looking at the hill slopes that were degraded, we as well start looking at the alluvial fens. This is, I don't want to go in detail, mostly it spreads the water over the floodplains, but farmers thought to be smart, funded by the South African government, start digging channels to protect their floodplains, but you get erosion, land incision, and your water table drops. Same challenge they did, so we want to create that again. The other thing we saw in the landscape is they start canalizing their rivers, and the same thing happened. 20 years ago, there was a wetland. Now it's 2 meters of erosion. That's ending up in your dam, and it's a lot of siltation. And the last thing we were starting to do is, can we create opportunities together with the landowners that can create a livelihood in a new way? So we looked at tourism, we looked at agriculture, we looked at payment for ecosystem service, but as well, how can we restore that functionality of the system? So we engaged with researchers to understand what were the dreams and aspirations of those people, so we could engage with them. So it was not only to build trust, but we tried to make friendships where we could work with them. We set up monitoring sites and we did research with the people, but we did it with them. They are now monitoring how their water is flowing. We're getting the data, and they start doing science as well. They start understanding, and we're helping them to realizing that. And as well, what we did, we really engaged on their platforms. We went farmers' union meetings. I had a great experience, and I think you guys like to remember that. 2009, what happened in 2009? South Africans? Oh, come on, Rugby World Cup. Belgium guy has to remember you. I don't know. But so, we celebrated with them, and I don't want to go in detail there. We organized as well field trips and learning journeys. They could go in the field with students and scientists to understand the system. But I can understand that you're now asking yourself, how does this help for climate change mitigation and adaptation? You're of course thinking in yourself and judging me, these DTD had a great time with the farmers, having rice, drinking coffee, eating rusks, watching rugby. And I can tell you, yes, it was a great time. Not only being on the land, but really connecting to people and understanding them. I get a little bit emotional about that. But now after 4 years really engaging, 4 years of really engaging, listening to them, engaging with them, building friendship. The system is now at a tipping point, not an ecological tipping point, a social tipping point. The farmers are now with the community taking ownership of their own change. Last time we had a meeting, and it was for me really difficult, the farmer said to me, Dieter, thank you very much for your work, but it's time that we take over. We don't need you anymore. 4 years, my little baby, was really hard to let that go. I felt a little, I don't have children, but now I understand what my parents are challenged to let me go sometimes. So, and what was great, they did that in a letter. So this is some of the pictures of the field trip students engaging with people, local people. So now we are 4 years later, they signed a map. A student will develop new ways, new scenario for the future with them, where they want to put land into biodiversity stewardship to secure biodiversity. They put land available for restoration. They wrote a letter to the government saying, come and help us. The land is available for you to restore. 4 years ago, they were not interested. Now they want to do it. And they mainly want to do that and they acknowledge that their practices, their current and previous practices are unsustainable. And they want to do that for themselves, but mainly for their children, because they see what the effect's going to be. Here is some of the work that we do. But for me, the greatest achievement now is that the system thinks that in this community, they think we are the system. And only the way we can solve it is we do it together. One of the farmers said to me, he said, before we were talking to each other, but now we're really engaging and listening to each other. And I think that's for me personally the greatest achievement. Also, we had 50 national and international students coming into the area and building capacity. We planted 1,000 hectares of spec gum to sequestrate the carbon. It's through the Subtropical Thicket Restoration Program, South African government program. Here you see some of the people with some students and farmers planting it. We're going to build a similar kind of structure. This is on another river, with the same kind of idea to restore the wetlands. And as well, we restored 10 alluvial fans. And again, this was done Dutch government funding, but as well through South African government funding. And both of these programs, Working for Water and Working for Water, I think South Africans should be proud of, because they really create hope, I think, on the landscape, not only by poverty elevation, but as well restoring our natural capital. But now to illustrate how we went through the process, and as well give you a glimpse how you could maybe start doing yourself, is first of all what we need to do, we need to go away of quick fixes. We are a society, we think technological quick fixes, we can solve things. We still need them. We think we design our policies, everything will be fine and it will be good. South Africa has, I think, the best environmental legislation, but it's not really working. The other one I think we really need to start engaging is reframing our values and beliefs. But the most important what we need to start looking at is regenerating why we on this planet, not as an individual only, but as a community. Why are we here? And what we want to showcase. But who are we? So what you start in the beginning, you start, wow, it's going too fast, but okay. So you start with co-initiation. What we did, go into the area without a plan. Just go, stop and listen to what is going on, and then really then find a group, a committed group where you can work with, who can change that society. The second one, the challenging one, takes the longest, is co-sensing. Just go in, observe, and observe. Start a learning journey together of exploration. And as well there, it's important that we create an environment where people can leave out their voice of judgment, leave out their voice of cynicism, but mostly important, that leaves out the voice of fear. Then you start co-inspiring, you're letting go of the past. We know what the past is. We know it's maybe not good, bad, or whatever. But let's see what can emerge. What can emerge new in this world? I think we have a lot of beautiful things going on, and let's focus on that. Then you start co-creating, you start creating small change in the system, you start looking at them. And it's with a kind of can-do ethics. But as well, we have to start looking in this society that failing is not a bad thing. Why we think failing is a bad thing? Failing is not bad, it's what you do with that failing. When you fail, and you realize it, and you act on it, and you learn and adapt, and then fail again, be moving along. When we all the time are scared of failing, you're not going to change anything. And then you go involved, you embody those changes, you integrate those successes, and you celebrate as a community. And I think really what the message I want to give is that you, as a community, as an individual, can do that yourself. You can start doing that in your personal life. You can start doing that in your street, in your class, in any community you are. You can create that change. This is not impossible for anybody to do. So my conclusion of my journey is that it's not easy, and you will go to personal challenges, but you have to stay positive and do it with I can do ethics all the time. Because I can assure you it's rewarding and it's fulfilling and it makes you as a person really grow. Not as only you, but as the community around you. And I'm not there yet, definitely not. I started my journey, I hopefully increased a little bit my handprint. I think I'm still a naive boy though. But my question I want to leave you with two things. The first one is, when are you starting your journey? When are you joining, reducing your ecological footprint and increasing your handprint? And at last, I want you to leave with one of my favorite artists. When you ever feel depressed, I like this song, because I think that's what we have to believe in, that we can change this world with our own two hands. Thank you very much for your attention.